box, but you're in handcuffs. So picture yourself in handcuffs, right? Picture yourself in handcuffs. And then you have this little black device right here that has your hands like this. So you're sitting like that against your waist. And then you got a waist belt shackled like that. And then you got shackles on your feet. You're sitting like that. I sat there like that from 4 something in the morning until 11:30 at night. Hey guys, welcome back to All City Motivation. Today we're going to go over another story about my personal experience inside Oklahoma State penal institutions. I did about 4.5 years inside the system here in Oklahoma Department of Corrections. I spent time over at Veneta, and I spent some time over at Hollis, some over at Elk City, and I discharged from a work center here in Avalon. Today we'll be going over one of my personal experiences, which would be, I would say, the ride to each one of those places. And if anybody that knows is watching this, and even if you don't know, even if you're supposed to transport to a certain facility, that facility could very well be real close to you, like within minutes, miles. We're talking like it could be 50 miles, which doesn't seem that far, but you're gonna go trip across the whole entire state, making multiple stops, shackled in what they call a black box. There will be a picture of it to show. There'll also be a picture of me with me showing a picture of me from the case that the crimes that I committed and the time that I've done. Also as well, there will also be images of the institutions, some of them that I'll be mentioning. I'd probably say you start off when you first get there. You go to this place called A&R, Acceptance and Reception. It's a place called Lexington, Oklahoma. It doesn't look that bad. It really honestly doesn't look that bad going up compared to some of the other ones that I'm going to mention here shortly. But the feeling that you get when you're fixing to go behind those gates and you're locked up and you're handcuffed up, you know, you're shackled up, you're fixing to go and do your time. The feeling that you get entering in behind those gates is you can't replicate it until you go to another one that has a little bit more of a reputation, or could very well serve its purpose for more violent individuals, or serve its purpose for sexual predators, or even just have the history about it, just the reputation and the history about it. So I would say going on the ride to A&R ain't that bad. From there, I stayed there for like 4.5 months or so. Really hot, middle of summer, no AC. We're flooding the door, putting a towel underneath the door. That way we can like flood the sink and everything, so the ground would stay cool, so we had water there and be laying there. That's how hot it was. And then from there, I went to Veneta, and it should have been only like a 2.5-hour trip, but we left at like say 4 in the morning-ish, and I didn't arrive at Veneta until like 11:30 p.m. that night. So you're going to all different places, all different types of places. When I mean all different types of places, you're going to 17 different facilities. I think I touched down at work centers, as well as like big time prisons. They got security systems here, low, medium, and max. Going through all of them, I would say the one that put the most dramatic impression on me, I would have to stay, would be probably McAllister, called the Walls. That's where they do Oklahoma's executions at, and it's just one of those places to where like when you go onto the grounds, when you know you're crossing the line, it is nothing but death. Like death is like clinging, like it's just so heavy. It's unreal. It's really honestly unreal. There is also various parts of Holdenville. When you go behind there, it's a Supermax, the newest Supermax here in Oklahoma, and it's interesting. It's very interesting. It looks like a modern high-end prison that has outside cages for the very violent individuals and this, that, and the other that are isolated in their Supermax part. It wasn't as stinging as McAllister though. When you go back there, some of them cells are condemned. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a good environment anyway. You definitely don't want to be yourself found there. They do have a lower security there, but I still wouldn't even want to be on the grounds of how heavy it is. You know that place is, I don't know if y'all believe in ghosts or anything, but that place is haunted. That place is going to definitely be haunted. Would be a good tour though. Would be a good tour for like ghost hunters if that place ever was deemed condemned and shut down, which wouldn't surprise me if they ever did, because I don't see the state trying to revamp that prison. Boley wasn't that big of a deal, but they had a lot of sex offenders there, so we aren't messing with none of that. So it wasn't, everybody was just like, man, let's get the hell out of here. Nobody wanted to even be there. We're just sitting on the bus, not even having to get off. Don't even have to go. Don't even want to be there because you just know. Veneta, though, when we landed at Veneta was alright. The actual in Oklahoma, there's a place that's the Rio Veneta. The Rio Veneta is an actual psych ward, and they do use inmates from Veneta, trustees per se, to go over there to go assist with those individuals, like work-wise. So it could be janitorial duties, could be cooking in the kitchen, etc. The place was used a lot more for just work. I'm not going to say too much specifically about that since that place is still in function. But Veneta was alright. They had I stayed in a unit that used to be like a last stop program. People trying to get out early, this, that, and the other. But they shut that program down, and I lived in that unit over there. And I stayed there for about 12 to 16 months, for a good 12 to 16 months. And there's tons of stories in that 12 to 16 months that I will be sharing with you guys later on in future videos. It left an impression. Just give it like that. It left an impression. But it wasn't as traumatizing, or as you could say, or as impactful, or it doesn't resonate with you as much as McAllister did. McAllister was something different. It was makes your hair stand up. Makes your hair stand up. And that black box ride, I don't know if y'all the black box, but you're in handcuffs. So picture yourself in handcuffs, right? Picture yourself in handcuffs, and then you have this little black device right here that has your hands like this. So you're sitting like that against your waist, and you got a waist belt shackled like that, and then you got shackles on your feet. You're sitting like that. I sat there like that from 4 something in the morning until 11:30 at night. Yeah, in a bus on metal seats. Driver, person up to the front has a shotgun. Person behind you has a shotgun, and they have high-end like plexiglass, bulletproof glass cage cells, individual cage cells for maximum security inmates. Interesting ride. Very interesting ride. But I appreciate you guys stopping by for this one. Come back to the next one. We're gonna go a little bit more deeper dive in my time in Veneta. Drop a like, drop a follow. Appreciate y'all. Till the next time.